Just let us know when you're good. Okay, thank you everybody for coming. Unfortunately, we have some news to report that's not positive from our end. Nonetheless, we find it important to be transparent about this and get this out there as soon as we practically could. I'm David Sorencio, and I'm the sheriff in Ontario County. With me up here is District Attorney Jim Ritz, Kelly Wolford, one of his assistant district attorneys, Under Sheriff Rago, Chief Deputy Felbo, Lieutenant Murphy, Chief Lambert from our Corrections Division, and Lieutenant Martin from our Criminal Investigation Division. I have a statement I'll read, and then we'll take questions to the extent that we can, keeping in mind that there is now a criminal action underway. In late January of this year, the Sheriff's Administration was notified of potential inappropriate behavior occurring at the Ontario County Courthouse by an on-duty Ontario County Sheriff's Corrections Officer assigned to the court security detail. Specifically, it was reported that the deputy was using an electronic hearing device to amplify voices for the purpose of listening in on conversations that he was not a part of and without the knowledge or permission of the people actually involved in the conversation. Upon this notification, an investigation was immediately launched by the Sheriff's Office Criminal Investigation Division at my direction. The officer was reassigned from the courthouse to the jail while the investigation was ongoing. Last week, members of the Sheriff's Administration met with the Ontario County District Attorney's Office to review the findings of that investigation. Based on the investigation in consultation with the District Attorney's Office, yesterday, Deputy Adam Broadwell was charged with eavesdropping, possession of an eavesdropping device, and official misconduct. The eavesdropping charge is a Class E felony, while the latter two charges are Class A misdemeanors. Deputy Broadwell was issued an appearance ticket for Canandaigua City Court, returnable on a later date, and he was then released. He's 44 years old, and he's a 20-year veteran of the Ontario County Sheriff's Office Corrections Division. Deputy Broadwell has been suspended without pay pending the outcome of this criminal case. I want to assure members of the public, and especially our residents of Ontario County, that the 280 men and women who make up the 6 divisions of the Sheriff's Office are dedicated professionals committed to bravely protecting this community with pride every day. Our road patrol, corrections, correctional health care, civil, and court security divisions are all accredited, meaning they exceed the professional standards set by New York State. Our members take pride in holding themselves to these standards. Any deviation from the ethical behavior essential to the law enforcement profession or lack of adherence to the laws we are sworn to uphold is not acceptable and will be dealt with accordingly. With that, I will take questions.
Could you spell his name?
Adambroadwell. We will provide you all with a copy of this.
This is the officer that's accused, or the facing these charges?
Yes, ma'am.
What kinds of conversations between, can you kind of describe, the severity of what he was listening into?
Unfortunately, we cannot at this point because those are facts pertinent to the criminal case that's now been commenced, so we cannot.
You say what kind of device and where was it?
Where it was in his ear.
Okay.
It was a earbud that's designed to cut out other noise and enhance the hearing of certain places where it's directed.
Have you had previous issues with this employee?
No.
Are you able to say if this was listening in on administration personnel or inmates?
Yeah, I can't comment about that.
Where was he stationed? Was he outside of the courtroom? Was he down at the metal detectors?
So he's been stationed, had been stationed at our courthouse for, that was his permanent work assignment, so he could be anywhere within the courthouse, any one of the 3 floors or the basement where different matters are going on or where they have to, be stationed to protect people over there.
You said it was discovered in January. Do you have any reason to believe it was happening long before, or how long he's been doing this?
Yes, the allegations that we dealt with actually occurred in 2022. It was January when it came to light. Yeah, I mean, again, that's all part of the criminal case, so I can't say specifically, but yes, January 23 is when it came out. 2022 is when the allegations are that it was occurring.
So was it a one-time conversation that he listened into, or is it something that he was doing regularly?
We have reason to believe that it was occurring regularly.
Why? Why was he, you know why he's doing it?
Again, that stuff, those are specific details that'll play out in the courtroom.
Did you say if someone reported this, or how it was?
Yep, someone did report it. We're not in a position to say who, but someone did report it, and that's how it got brought to the attention of the Sheriff's Administration.
Can you say whether it was civilians, inmates, or, you know, who he was listening into?
No, can't.
Class E felony, what would he be looking at?
So the sentencing range is anything from an unconditional discharge. The maximum sentence would be an indeterminate prison sentence with a minimum 1 1/3 and a maximum 4. That's going to depend on a number of things, and certainly at some point it's a judge that makes that decision, not us.
A minimum 1 to 3 years, you said?
No.
Or wait, what? Sorry.
The minimum is an unconditional discharge. The minimum sentence. The maximum sentence would be an indeterminate prison term with a minimum 1 1/3 years, maximum 4.
When you say unconditional discharge, that would just be, you wouldn't be working for the sheriff's department?
Unconditional discharge would just be a sentence that doesn't include any supervision or requirements to answer back to the court.
Talk about why it's so important that you're addressing the public in this way about this personnel issue.
Absolutely. We are, law enforcement, we're held to the highest possible standard. We are sworn to serve and protect the people of our communities, and so we need to operate at the top of, the ethical and moral compass. And when there's an issue that falls below that, it's on us not only to address it, but to be transparent and let the people of the community that we protect know that it happened. Not only that it happened, but that it has been addressed and that we don't tolerate it. And again, the 280 members that work here, we've got one issue where, the accusations at this point are that somebody stepped out of line and fell below our expectations. But the people that work here come in every day and risk their lives to protect this community, whether they're on the road patrol, the criminal investigation division, in the 911 center, in our corrections division, correctional courthouse security, all of them. And so we owe it to them too to, they don't stand for this either.
Could this have interfered with any cases at all that invasion of privacy there?
So that's another part to the specific facts of the case that we can't discuss, and we'll have to let that play out in the court process.
Can you put into words how upset you are?
Very. We work hard to have a great reputation and to earn the trust of the community that we serve, and to have to stand here before you today and say that we're in this place is it's upsetting to me. It's upsetting to the rest of our command staff and to the rank and file that come to work and serve and protect here every day. So, but again, we also feel that we owe it to everyone to tell you what's happened and advise you of the steps that we took and that we continue to take to address this and hopefully make sure something like this doesn't happen here again.
Could there be other charges for people, or are you suspecting other people knew and didn't come forward soon enough?
No.
Are you able to tell us how you suspect that this happened more than once? Anything about that at all?
No, because that part of the case is still pending, and so there's a court process that's playing out. There's an internal discipline now that's going to have to play out, and so those are all facts that we'll have to let come out in those processes.
Is this the only position that he's had with security there? He was never a road patrol or anything like that?
He was not road patrol, but our court security officers are corrections officers, so he did work between either the jail or the courthouse. That's usually a 1-year assignment, and he was fulfilling that assignment when these allegations that we're talking about took place. But yeah, either the jail or the courthouse, but he was not a member of the road patrol.
Have you ever put inmate safety at risk?
No, we don't have any reason to believe that.
Can you say again the time he served with Ontario County?
20 years.
You said he's suspended without pay?
Yes, sir.
Is there a time period to the
So by civil service law, he can only be suspended without pay for 30 days. If the internal case is not cleared by then he would have to go back on payroll and be paid, but he will, either way, he will remain suspended until this is, the criminal case plays out.
And where does this go from here?
So again, he has a court appearance coming up in Canandaigua City Court, and we will, internally, we will let the criminal case play out first, and then depending on how, what the outcome is of that, will determine what we do internally for the long run and permanently for his employment with us.
So is this being prosecuted by the DA? Okay.
Yes, it is.
You've been a district attorney for, what, how many, quite a while now?
Well, I've been the elected for, this is my 6th year.
Yeah, right. Well, have we had anything like this? Yeah, just right up to the mics if you like just.
The eavesdropping cases are not routine. They don't occur very frequently, and so the last one I can remember was actually at the old YMCA. I mean, it's been probably close to 20 years. So these do not happen frequently.
And as far as being a county employee, that sort of changes a little bit too. Are you going to have to recuse yourself in case?
We're waiting for an attorney to get on board. Kelly Wolford has been assigned to prosecute this from my office. She doesn't have, she's just joined the office in the last few weeks, and so she doesn't really have a history that would interfere with her ability to prosecute this. If his attorney makes an application or has a problem, once we have an attorney on board, we'll have that conversation and determine. I anticipate it'll be my office going forward.
And this is a felony charge. Can you talk about why this is such a serious charge in this case?
I think it relates back to, the expectations that we all have of privacy and communications that we have, the ability to have frank communications about certain things, all of the goings on at the courthouse, there are multiple different parts that the public can't be a part of. You're very limited in what you can do in family court. A lot of the Supreme Court stuff, you can't get to the records, and so, I mean, there's an expectation of privacy at the courthouse with what we do. And again, in the conversations we have on a day-to-day basis, we expect to be able to have frank conversations, not have to worry about somebody listening in that's not part of it.
Can either of you talk about the trust, that you need to have that trust at the courthouse when folks come in? Is that not correct?
Yeah, it goes without saying that we need to be able to rely on our officers to make sure they're doing the job that needs to be done. Our safety depends on it. Our security depends on it. The ability to maintain the integrity of what happens every day in every floor in every courtroom depends on that.
Any policy changes or anything that you will need to do in order to make sure that this doesn't happen again?
Yeah, so we've certainly been taking a look at that. We've already changed things, some operational things at the courthouse a little bit, as far as the roles of the supervisor over there, the sergeant in charge of that detail, and what the expectations are for that person during the day, as far as keeping track of their personnel versus what we were doing before. So some changes have already been made, but yeah, we will take even a closer look at it and make sure we're doing everything that we can to prevent this from happening again. But again, I say that, and I mean that very sincerely, but also this is a one-time, we don't have any reason to suspect this is the other 15 people assigned over there are doing this. This was a isolated incident. It was reported. It was investigated very promptly, very aggressively, and the actions we took were swift, and that's what's necessary to protect, as the DA said, the integrity of what we're charged to protect in that building. We take that very seriously. Our officers are sworn to not only protect the safety of the people that are coming and going from that building, but also the information that's being exchanged in there. You've got, as DA Ritz said, there's family court and there's criminal trials and there's very sensitive information going through that building, and it's our officers' job to protect that and make sure that the people involved in that information dissemination, that they're protected and that stays quiet. So
Are you able to say what the device was, or is that not?
I did a bit. It's yeah, it was a earbud that's used for amplification of sound, and it can actually drown out sound in certain zones so that it can pick it up better in a specific location.
Was any of this being used to, you know, help others gain information?
Again, the specifics of the actual allegations that are charged there, it's best that we let that play out in the court system since we have made an arrest here.
I know I can't remember if you've got staffing issues in corrections, but taking this person out, does this create any issues that you have to cover for?
Sure. Yes. You know, we're still not at the staffing levels in the corrections division that we need to be in. We've definitely we've made strides, big strides in the last 15 months to add on. I think we've hired about 12 to 14 corrections officers. We were down like 25, so we remain down about a dozen, and so we certainly don't want to lose any more before we add them. But that being said, obviously we're not going to lower the standard and permit criminal behavior to just to fill a vacancy. It just can't happen.
This may be too specific as far as the allegations go, and forgive me if someone's asked already. Are you able to answer if, you know, anything was actually recorded or left the premises, or was it?
That part of it, we have some investigation going on with that still. Like some of the evidence we're still going through. But so the true answer to that is I just don't know at this point.
Do you anticipate there could be more charges if you find that this did interfere with some cases or anything like that?
Not right now. The charges that have been levied are, you know, what's appropriate regardless of who was being listened to or what was happening with the information. So they cover the different scenarios that could be taking place.
I'm curious too, this eavesdropping charge, is this something that is a felony charge because it happened in a courthouse in a government building, or could you also be charged with this for eavesdropping like out in the community? This is such a
Yeah.
unique.
No, good question. No, it's not the venue that makes it a felony. It's the fact that a mechanical device was used to listen in on a conversation that the person alleged was not a part of the conversation and did not have permission to be listening to the conversation. So those elements make it a felony. Anything else?
Anything else you wanted to add?
No, I think we've covered it. Just that, again, my commitment to this community is that our folks are sworn to serve and protect. We do that every day with courage, bravery, and professionalism, and we will continue to do that. We're not immune to any other employer or like law enforcement agency. We will have blips in the radar, but the assurance from me is that they'll be investigated and they'll be dealt with appropriately. Thank you.
Just for the timeline too, he started at the jail, then came over here?
Yes.
And then when this was found out, he was deployed back out to the jail again?
Yes.
But now is not on staff, or?
Was suspended yesterday at the time of arrest. Thanks, everybody. Appreciate it.